Good morning. I am Harry Clevin, and this is the very first show of Harry's World. Probably is nobody. Probably nobody is going to be on this, but anyways, we're going to have on Tuesdays. It's going to be a top 20 Tuesday, and let me introduce myself. My name's Harry Clevin. I'm originally from Michigan. I was born in Warren, Michigan. Moved away when I was 4. Moved to the thumb part of Michigan, lived there about 6 years in Deckerville, Michigan, and moved to Houghton Lake, Michigan. Beautiful area. And Higgins Lake is my favorite place in the world. And I just would like to have this forum available to uh, talk about sports, music, uh, a potpourri of entertainment things. Could be movies, could be whatnot. In the back there, you can see my Mars. Let's see which way direction. Anyways, there's a mask right there. Oh, see you over there by under Bill and Beers thing. He's that's a Mars attack, Martian, and whatnot. So we're going to talk about sports. Also believe in our Heavenly Father on it, and we will talk about that. This will be a clean show. I understand that some people may respond on the show. I'm not responsible for their actions, and I'm not here to judge anybody and uh, belittle or condemn anybody. That's not my job in this world. I don't think it's any of our jobs. But we can talk about religion. We can talk about politics. I'm not afraid to talk about anything really that has pretty good moral content. And sports is kind of like a fantasy thing for us. And speaking of that, checked out my fantasy teams. I have 13 of them, and one of those I kind of wasn't there for it, so it was the robot that did it. So really 12. But I think I got like a 15 or 16 game advantage over losing. But I have one 8-0 team, and I have one team that the one that the robots picked. I won my first one. I was really shocked at that. So I'm 1-7 in that one, and I picked mostly Detroit Lions. I'm a little biased. I'm from Michigan, so we run that. I will do that. I'm going to take these glasses off. I don't need them to read on that. So I have a little kitten here. You'll probably see her storm the stage a little bit, but she was just trying to come up and get me, and then of course she's going to be elusive on that. So I expect technical difficulties from time to time, and I get a little distracted from her. But anyways, we will never say I'm not a robot, so I have a little pet peeve of everybody going, "Let's get into this." You won't hear that other than what I just said right there. So, anyways, there's Bill Lambier, Isaiah Thomas, Barry Sanders, and Jesus Save shirt. I love that actually, and he does, and he makes a difference in this world and the world to come. So we're gonna do the top 20, and this week it's gonna be the top 20 NFL all-time players. And basketball is going to be next week, which is there's probably more debates on that. So if you catch this somehow, some way, and want to partake, I'm going to shoot for 7:30 every single day on that, and I may do some during the afternoons, but 7:30 I'm trying to do that every day. So be consistent. And I may not get a viewer for 2 weeks. I don't, and this is kind of just a fun hobby that if it turns out to be something more, God bless it. Okay. I am, I want to talk about the list real fast. There's going to be people I left off, and I know it. These are kind of in the order that I think they are, but there's obviously going to be some people that are going to say this or that. I will tell you one person that wasn't on the list. And I'm a Lions fan, so I have to admit I'm a little biased, perhaps, but there's some reasoning. His name is Aaron Rodgers. I think he's got to be one of the worst teammates to ever exist, and just to show that I'm not against the Packers and a hater of the Packers, which I never root for the Packers normally. But with the Lions being so horrible for a lot of my life, I'm 57. I had to admire some other team, some other that, and I didn't really admire the team, but I admire one guy, Brett Favre. So he's going to be on my list somewhere, and I try to be subjective on that, even though he's my favorite player, one of my top two or three players of all time. The rattling you hear in the back is my kitten Mary Bell, which she'll probably make an appearance here. And anybody that owns cats, they're hunting my feet, they're hunting everything. They stalk me, they hide and whatnot. But anyway, Aaron Rodgers, he's won one Super Bowl, and this list, of course, to me, it's a team sport. I don't judge greatness just on winning or losing. Winning has a part of it, of course. Obviously, somebody like Bill Russell won 11 championships in 13 years. That catapults him up there. So we'll save that for next week. But I'm going to list the 20 greatest players of all time. And if you're not watching live and you're going to watch this, probably put it on pause, make your list. It takes a few minutes, just kind of sort through it, and then compare them. And feel free to leave comments on that. I'm probably crazy in a lot of areas to you. It's all subjective. Okay, number 20. I have Richard Sherman. Now, there's a guy that affected the game completely. He's going to guard your best wide receiver. He's going to get inside your head, and he's a winner. Okay, so he's on my top 20. Congrats, Richard Sherman. And I actually like him even better as an analyst. He's very insightful. Number 19. Yes, I left Aaron Rodgers off, and Drew Brees. When Drew Brees won his Super Bowl, all he did was beat Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning. Oh, I just realized I left Peyton Manning off. Oh, see, there's I got it. Peyton Manning. I got to put Peyton Manning up there too. So sorry, Peyton. Okay, we're gonna have Peyton. Just Peyton's in the top 20. He's got to be. So this is top 21, I guess. And you just fit him where you want him too. So the next one I've got is Earl Campbell. Have you ever watched this guy run? This guy carried 3, 4 people with him. He could outrun a lot of people, but he'd just carry you along with him. The next one is one of the hardest hitters I've ever seen, Ronnie Lott. He's scared. I mean, if you're a wide receiver and you do not want to go across that middle, not one bit. Then we have Ray Lewis, another guy that just affected the game completely. We have Derrick Henry. That guy's still going. He's a beast, man. And I'd tell you what, you could put him in any era, and he's just gonna. It'd be fun to watch Ray Lewis play quite a few games against him. But Dan Marino, 14, great quarterback. Never won a Super Bowl. Went to a Super Bowl, but once again, there's a thing called an eye test. You haven't. There's only so much one player can do for a team. I was begging for the Lions to have, since they were wasting Barry Sanders' career, to do something like the Dallas Cowboys did with Herschel Walker, and that was trade him and get a bunch of draft picks and build a team. Uh, this current Lions team kind of did that with Stafford. Stafford wasn't the problem one bit, but we weren't going anywhere with him, and his career was winding down. We thought so. We got Jared Goff, and man, he's kind of surprised me. But but it was a good trade because we got 2 number 1 picks and a third-round pick. And if Jared Goff could even, they were talking about him being a bridge quarterback and getting us to a point where we could draft a quarterback. He's 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 allowed us to not have to draft a quarterback, but to get other people like Hutchinson and uh, pray for his fast recovery. I'd like to see him, if we get to the Super Bowl and get in the game, for him to at least step on the field for one play at the end, if we can. And just, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he found somehow a way to play. But anyway, the Cowboys uh, built a team with them and won some Super Bowls with Aikman and Emmett Smith and Michael Irvin, and they all were part of that um, drafting that was came from those picks from Minnesota for Hersch Walker. I wanted the Lions to do the same thing for Dan Marino, and they could trade. They could have traded Barry Sanders to a number of teams, I'm sure, but they weren't wise enough. Our front office. I'm glad they are now. Number 13, Eric Dickerson. We're going to move this right along. And I'll just start going through the list here. It's going to take forever, just kind of highlighting those. My next pick, number 12, is Calvin Johnson. The guy ended shortened his career. He was in a lot of pain and whatnot. And hopefully he gets his way of instead of the NFL, since they're already allowing gambling, um, that they start looking at the NFL players. And what Calvin Johnson has done, and I only know a little bit of it, is these athletes are surviving about 20 to 30 car wrecks, is what they equivalent a good uh, impact, from a tackle or collision, whatnot. They're basically surviving about 30 car wrecks a game. And there's two options. You can suffer really badly or take some medicine that people get addicted to, and it gets them. Or what Calvin Johnson's doing, he's using the benefits of CBD and THC. Well, I don't know about THC, but the hemp products and for pain relievers and whatnot. And look at him, he benefited from that, and hopefully they get through that. And I'm going to keep cruising. Number 11, Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader. Um, Emmett, sorry about that, about being all the way down to 11 and you're the all-time rushing leader. But football is kind of a funny sport. You had some big holes to run through, and one of the guys that's near the top, I won't tell you where he's at yet, Barry Sanders. He would have loved to have some of those lines. He would have loved to have today's Detroit Lions line. Number 10, a gentleman that I actually met when I lived in Fort Myers, Florida, and this guy is, man, wherever he goes, he's a winner. And it's Deion Sanders, and I could argue that he should be up even quite a bit higher. If we were taking picks to build a team, I gotta have Deion Sanders. That guy shut down not only the top receiver, but if a quarterback was smart, he would never throw anywhere towards that side of the field, because he could leave his guy, intercept it, and if somebody wasn't immediately tackling him, that's going to be a touchdown most times. Number 9, a guy that just recently retired in last year, Aaron Donald. That guy just caused some problems every single play. You had to double team him. No one guy was going to take care of him except for possibly Trent Williams. Number 9, Jerry Rice. Yes, Jerry Rice. Number 7, Walter Payton. He could go. He could. All these guys could be shuffled around and somewhere higher. Here's one that some people may uh, argue about a little bit, and he's way up there, and he's got a lot. He still has more to accomplish, but man, he's accomplished a lot. And that is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's got a lot of Super Bowls already, and it's not just about winning, but and the style that he does it is incredible. I'm not a big Chiefs fan, never have been, but I was watching the game that they took Alex Smith out and put him in, and I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty good. I didn't know he's gonna be this good. And he was actually drafted by the Detroit Tigers, and I live in a fantasy world. I'm thinking, okay, if we meet the Super Bowl, let's see how many zeros we need to put in his pocket to say, hey, you don't get to play the Super Bowl. You're gonna sign with the Tigers. How about that? And play 1 year, and then you can come back to football. But uh, we'll enjoy beating them if we get to that far. But number 5, Reggie White. There's a guy that even though he never played offense, that guy led the team spiritually, emotionally, physically. He dominated that game. Your quarterback had a rough day that day. Your running backs had a rough day that day. You did not play football the same. You had to get rid of that ball, make a quick decision, and probably three and out. Reggie White. Number 4, Joe Montana. Yes, Joe Montana. Steve Young probably could be on here too. Once again, there's only 20 slots that I have, and I obviously forgot Peyton Manning, which was silly on my part. But he's in there somewhere. You throw him where you want. Number 3, Barry Sanders. A lot of people think he's the greatest running back of all time. He was the most elusive for sure on that, and it'd have been nice for him to win a Super Bowl, but he's enjoying this Detroit Lions team. It's kind of a secondary thing there. Number 2, Dick Butkus. Have just watch film. This guy ruined people. He just destroyed them. Destroyed them. Very impactful. And number 1, the GOAT, Tom Brady. 7 Super Bowl wins. I think he went to 11 altogether. So at one point, he was in half as many Super Bowls as his career. So that's my top all-time football players list. Feel free to go ahead and give me your comments. I'm gonna have another show tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning, and let's see, Wednesday. I'm not sure what we're doing when tomorrow, but we'll see. But you guys have a great day. Share this with your friends, tell them, and eventually we'll get a few people on here and maybe we'll have discussions. I'm not afraid to give my telephone number. If you want to call in, I'll put you on I'll try it, put my speakerphone on if that works. And you guys have a wonderful day and God bless you. How do I end this? Oh, there it is. There's an end stream.